Welcome to the GSTL. We have ZeNEX against Slayers today. Yesterday, ZeNEX Life able to all kill the entirety of Team Liquid. We'll see if that win yesterday was just a fluke or if they can repeat their performance against Slayers. How are you doing today, Kaldor?
Oh, I'm
both of our mic. All right, there we go. We're back.
Okay, we're back.
That was weird, but anyway.
That was a good timing, but
Go ahead.
Immediately when I start talking, suddenly it's just okay, no, we're really looking forward to today's matches. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Obviously, Life had quite the run yesterday when he all killed Team Liquid. Today he has to prove himself again, though, because the matchup against Slayers is not going to be an easy one. They definitely have other plans. Puzzle played so well in the first match that they had, so we'll see today.
You know what's something to think about, too, with this match, ZeNEX against Slayers, is until yesterday, Slayers wasn't sure which team they were going to play against, you know? Because if Team Liquid had won, they would be playing against Team Liquid today. And so they might have assumed ZeNEX was going to win, but probably not. I mean, that kind of assumption is a tough one to make, so they don't have a lot of preparation time. Whereas both the losing teams in Hosa and Team Liquid now have a lot of time to prepare for each other. They know what their opponents are. So today we may see like a little bit more, I guess, like fill-in strategies, kind of like, all right, well, this is what we planned last night, and we found out who. I may have lost my mic there for a second. I'm not sure what's happening, but
I can tell you what's happening. I think the cable is broken.
I hope that's not
only
the
sound.
Hopefully you guys can hear us during those moments of uncertainty for us. But either way, you know, it's going to be a tough match for both teams today, but I think Slayer's definitely the favorite.
Yeah, I think so too. ZeNEX will have to prove himself, and we'll have a quick look at the team rosters and some team details.
Yep. The information for both of these teams, we saw it before. We're going to see it again right now.
Or not? We don't know.
What's going on back there again, guys? All right, so here is Slayers EG versus ZeNEX. You can see their win records there. It is in Korean, but that means 9 wins, 7 losses for EG, 3 and 9 for ZeNEX. You can see their race distributions as well. And that was a very brief moment of those being up there today. But I think that
this is weird today.
Yeah, today is a little bit off. I'm not sure, but
I like it. It's funny.
It's a challenge. We took our production to the hard level. Like, it's like not quite as easy as normal for us to just sit here and do this thing that we do every day. But seriously, I think that Life is going to come out today at some point, and
definitely.
I think he will come out for ZVZ. Like, for example, if a Zerg is on Slayers that's doing a tear, like, for example, Koka is doing really well, or Mia, we saw a lot of crazy Infestor play out of him. If one of those Zergs come out and start giving them problems, I think they'll pull out the life card.
I would really look forward to it because Life played really well yesterday. I want to was seeing him do it again. And it was so funny, by the way. We had him yesterday in the backstage area after the match, and as he's an MVP, obviously everyone wanted to take pictures with him. So they told him just to stand at the wall, and he had to pose like this. And he couldn't stop laughing. This entire team was just surrounding him, and everyone was making fun of him. And the poor guy was always, the guy with the camera always like, can you make a serious face? Can you like really, really badass? At some point he had to move like this or this.
Yeah, he was doing like this and stuff.
And he couldn't do it. Yeah, he couldn't do it. They was just laughing the entire time. And I think that after like 15 minutes, they finally got a shot. His entire team just smirking like crazy and laughing, and him like trying to concentrate on it. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny. You know, the photographer that was just doing that there at the end is Yuta, man, and he is like the biggest photographer journalist guy that will get a shot of anything, but he made him stop smiling. Well, here is our first team. It is Slayers. Did see them perform just 2 days ago, taking out Hosa thanks to Puzzle. We've seen their lineup several times in the past, obviously partnering with EG. That's why you see those 2 Korean EG players, Puma and JYP, over towards the left. This is a sick lineup of players. Coached, of course, by Sella and managed by Slayer's Jessica, in fact, a Korean celebrity.
Boxer is there as well. The entire team is currently present, and they are really, really eager this season to go to the finals. We talked to Slayer Sella quite a bit in the qualifier and during the last Pro Day matches and Codex matches. He was also really focused on, okay, this time in the GSTL, we want to shine, we want to prove that we are still out there, that we are able to reach the finals and maybe even win them.
Yeah. Oh, look at them, how close-knit that team is and how ready they look. They seem like not very nervous at all, to be honest. We're going to take a look at their entirety of their roster so you guys can get a breakdown of who plays for them, exactly what races. Here they are, Slayers EG. Starting with our Protosses, we have Alicia, Puzzle, and Crank, top-notch players.
The Protoss players in the lineup here, and of course also the Terrans with MMA, Byung, and Clyde. Clyde was not able to reach Code A.
No, not quite.
Died in the qualifier. We have Mia, Coca, JYP, and Puma.
A very, you know, more depth than the Slayers team has shown in the past, in fact, these days, I would say. Obviously, Slayers Boxer no longer on the roster as he is currently injured. Cannot play to his peak. But look at that team, man. Just look at how close they are.
We talked to them earlier, and it was really funny because I didn't believe Wolf when he just pointed out that MMA had this weird ponytail thingy going on.
I was telling you about that, man.
So we checked it out. I actually looked. I can't believe that I did that, but still. And he has. We asked them what exactly this is, and Sela translated was like, "Yeah, his hairstylist apparently thought it was a good idea." To be honest with you, I think it wasn't. It looks really weird, but it's there.
He calls it the MMA tail. MMA has a little bit of a tail going out of his hair. I've wanted to ask him this for ages. Well, here is our...
see JYP?
Yeah,
he's a really cuddly guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he can be, yeah. Oh, here is our second team. It is ZeNEX coming out with their new jerseys. Currently 1-0. ZeNEX getting their second all-kill against a foreign team yesterday, and they looked strong, especially, of course, Life. Even Avenge looked pretty strong in his opening match. We'll see what they can show us today.
I'm really excited about this. ZeNEX in the past has been a team that did not perform as well as they wanted to. The coach talked about it in the interview after the match yesterday. And, well, they won. They won with 5-1 against Team Liquid with an amazing all-kill by Life. And we are going to see if this was just a one-time thing or if they can repeat it today against the Slayers team.
Yeah, I think they definitely can. It's all going to be about will they. It's the most important part. This team has been around for so long. You can see, I love that on their team logo, it says 2010, because yeah, that was only 2 years ago, but one day it'll be like, wow, 2010, this team has been around for a while. They've been able to survive everything. We're going to take a look at their entirety of their roster here, starting with our Protoss players. And they are, in fact, actually we're starting with Zerg, Suoshin, Life, and Pet. I got trolled, man. Secondly, here are our Protoss players, Avenge, Mentalist, and Brain. Haven't seen anything from Brain just yet.
Me neither. Extreme, yes, of course, that's one of the Protoss players. We've seen quite a lot from him in the last season. Sparta and Harrier.
Yeah, their Terran roster a little bit lacking, but Harrier did qualify for Code A, and Sparta has shown good games outside of the GSL in the esports weekly matches, as well as in KSLs and other team leagues that ZeNEX has participated in, so he's definitely a top-notch player for sure.
They're currently inviting our starting players. We won't spoil it yet, but just a little bit of a hint. We have a PVZ coming up first.
Yeah, we do, and the map is going to be Atlantis Space Bear, in fact. You know, a pretty cool starting map to have. It's not my favorite map, but it's huge, and it's kind of like we're going to start things off with a bang here, I feel. We've seen crazy long games in this matchup, especially recently. Yeah. And this is a big map, so I think we're going to see something like that. Now, if you guys are super observant, you'll notice which players are missing from these benches. We're going to take a look at our starting players now. There's one of them running into the booth over there.
One
saw him.
Zerg player is not here at the studio today for the Slayers team. It's actually Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep.
I talked to Sela about it, and he said that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually currently on a diet.
Yeah. That's I don't know exactly what that means 100%, but let's talk about this guy for a second. This is Slayers Coca. It's his second GSL appearance since Jessica banned him from playing in the league since he basically gave up his Code S spot. He lost in the qualifiers to a Zerg player. He had an only ZVZ bracket in the Code A qualifier. He was not able to qualify. He lost 2-0.
He was in the same bracket as Pet, so they could have met in the final. They did not, but it's just an interesting side note because they might have to face each other today.
Yeah, they may. In fact, I don't know if they'll pull Pet out to ZVZ against Coca if he wins here, or if they would rather put Life. But our first player for the team, ZeNEX, is in fact going to be the same one we had yesterday. It is ZeNEX Avenge. our Protoss starter here.
And he will be quite happy that he's up against a Zerg player so far. He has done really well against Zerg. The last Zerg he was able to beat was actually Lucky in the KSL. Kind of interesting, as a side note, we talk about the qualifier a lot, and Lucky is one of the players in the Code A qualifier who is not able to get out there. He's such a strong player, but it just shows once again that in the Code A qualifier, everything can happen.
Yeah, you're right. He lost to I Am First, in fact, in a crazy series. I stood behind Lucky the entire time watching his play. I Am First, I can't wait to see what he's going to do this season because he looked to be an amazing player, but I could talk for that for hours later.
The record of Coca against Protoss, it is crazy. It's crazy. With 25 matches played in competitions, we have an 80% win ratio for Coca against Protoss.
He has shown, he was one of the first innovators of the new infestor timings in CVP a long time ago, showing how to use infestors early to hold off Blink Stalker aggressions, holding off sometimes 2-base. Protoss pushes with fast infestors as well. He's the infestor guy.
I'm really looking forward to this match, especially on Atlantis spaceship. Having a Protoss versus Zerg should be really interesting here. The game is currently loading. We're waiting for the match to start. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the GSTL. We have Slayers against ZeNEX, Avenge against Coca. It's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg in our first match. Commentated by Caldon Wolf.
That song, man.
You love it, don't you?
I do.
To the top right, we have in the yellow our Zerg player for the Slayers team. It is none other than
Slayers Coca!
Slayers Coca, that's right, there he is. Very excited to see him play here.
Yeah, me too.
Haven't seen him in quite a while.
Yeah, he's been kind of in the dark. See what he can come out and do against this guy. Starter both days for the team ZeNEX. He is.
ZeNEX! Avenge!
He played yesterday already. Avenge was not too lucky in Zerg versus Protoss. He lost actually against his first opponent. He lost against Zenyo.
Louisville StarCraft 2 players listed there. Cool to see fans coming from around the world to the GSL studio to watch these matches. We do see the Probe Scout coming in here. This will force a pool before hatch, even though it's a huge map.
Yeah, definitely going to be a pool first. I don't think that he will risk it and start with a hatch first. It doesn't make any sense, especially against the Protoss player who will most likely start with a Forge first. Well, on the other hand, let's be honest about it, you could also start with an Nexus first on this map. That's something that we've seen in the past over and over again. A lot of greedy build order openings, and, well, we'll find out soon enough. The pool already built for Coca, no surprise here. He needs to be a little bit careful. There's always danger of being cannoned by your opponent. So this is just playing it safe. We don't lose too much. And it kind of looks like we are having
Nexus first.
A Nexus first, indeed.
Yeah, he will be going for that. And as a result, did not pylon block the natural. He may decide to in fact do that, but does lose that opportunity. He will keep the probe alive, not even losing any hit points on it. This is going to be very important for later on checking to see if he takes a fast third base on this map.
That's one of the scouting information that you need to have as a Protoss in order to determine what exactly your opponent is up against. You could always face an early aggression, but usually what we see from the Zerg player is just trying to get a third as fast as possible and then defend against the two-base all-ins, if there's going to be any.
Yeah. You know, if you're a Protoss, you want to know, for example, do you want to be doing one of those two-base all-ins? Do you want to do a fast attack, or can you kind of skimp a little bit and get a faster third base? We do see the cannon going down now for Avenge. He is going to drop his gateway as well. Leaves a one-space wall off so that he can block with the Zealot. This is so important. I'm so, you know, I so much prefer the players who do the one-space wall off. The full wall, you have to kill one of your buildings, you lose your Probe Scout, you have no more information, you can't put any more pylons. I really just dislike that. that style. So I'm glad to see that most people are now kind of figuring out that, yeah, it's okay if I leave a gap as long as I make sure to plug that later. Gas going down now here for our Zerg before taking the third base.
At the same time, we have him getting the Overlords in position. He does not only have one Overlord already, the natural of Avenge, but gets the second one in there as well. So he will later on be able to scout the expansion and obviously the main base, just try to see what kind of transition Avenge chooses on Metropolis. It's a huge map, as we pointed out earlier, so in order to get map control you have to cover a lot of space. You have to make sure that these probes die. That's the one thing that you definitely need to do. And there's already the scout. He knows about the third base. The probe was alive long enough, but it will finally die.
Yep, it will be taken out with one more Zergling swipe. There it is. Now, he actually will want to send a second probe, which he does send immediately to make sure that hatchery is not a fake. He wants to go and double check that. He'll probably also drop one pylon out in the middle of the map so he can do warpins if he chooses to. He's already getting +1, and as soon as his cybernetics core finishes, he will start warp gate research, which leads everyone to believe he's going to be going for some sort of +1 timing attack, very likely a 4 zealot.
It's pretty nice how these overlords are actually positioned,
yeah.
And I think that Koka will be able to spot the probe with one of these overlords. So he has, there it is, knows exact, does he see it? The probe suddenly stopped, yeah, he knows it.
Yeah, he sees
He knows about it. So at this point in time, we have him just with everything that he needs to. He knows there's another probe out on the map. He kind of prevents Avenge from moving forward with the probe because the pylon would be scouted immediately. So very well played by Koka. Nice map awareness for the Slayers player.
Double gas is going down for Avenge, by the way, really quickly. And he has a very fast +1, but he may not actually hit that super fast timing. I'm wondering what he's going to do because he has not added any gates. He's got a ton of gas mining right now. He may just start really cranking up that sentry production, but he still doesn't have the gateways to do it. So it's starting to look more like he's obviously going to put some sort of tech down. The question is, what is it going to be? Is it going to be Stargate tech? His opponent is already going towards that Roach Warren, getting a lair.
Yeah, speaking about tech, he starts with the lair immediately. The Roach Warren is followed by 3 gas, while the gateways are now being built for Avenge. So while Avenge is trying to play a little bit more gateway heavy, he's completing the +1 attack upgrade. We have speed finishing for his opponent, for Koka, and with the lair tech now he has a ton of options. The harvester count is in his favor with 53 to 45. And here comes the Twilight count, a little bit delayed.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit later than I expected. He really did a good job of denying the scouting, though, of Koka. Koka now doesn't really know what's happening. He doesn't see that. He hasn't seen the gates. He hasn't seen the tech. He's probably preparing himself mentally, or what could this potentially be. Interestingly enough, not making any spores for potential Stargate play or even fast DTs. Infestation Pit, though, being started very quickly here, as well as Burrow and Roach Speed. And it looks like we may see just a delayed push here from Avenge.
With Infestation Pit, he will have the fungals out in time, and this is really important if you deal with Blink Stalkers, for example. A 2-base timing attack on Blink Stalkers with +2 can be really stressful to deal with. At the same time, you are kind of safe against Immortal pushes. Well, not really, maybe not really safe, but the Infestors and Fungals help you a ton when it comes down to defeating the Sentries, which is kind of crucial for the Protoss.
He has just enough Roaches here to deny this wave, and look at this. Dark Shrine going down, but meanwhile, he is going to clean up these Zealots, no problem. Just enough Roaches to really support these Lings. Not even going to lose the Ling. He's going to save them, use the Roaches to do the battle. We do see that Avenge is aggressively taking the center base with triple gases, and he's going to use those DTs to kind of keep his opponent preoccupied while he does that. He's got a ton of sentries out right now, too, at 7 in total.
The Zerglings run in, though, and try to force a cancel on the Nexus, immediately talking down the building. He warps in a few additional units, Avenge trying to save it, but
he'll
no,
have to cancel.
He does not move out with the sentries. He knows that right now he doesn't have the firepower to do it.
This is a scary moment for our Protoss players, adding more gateways right now, but he needs to have a third Nexus going up if he wants to support those. Has to cancel a Photon Cannon here, uses 2 force fields, and in fact, a lot of those units for Koka get away. He's just going to burrow them there, keep them there, and the constant threat of run-bys will persist. The forward pylon is still out, so he can use that for his Dark Shrine, which is in fact finishing right now. He has a decent amount of gas. He could actually warp in about 5 DTs if he wants to. He's going to make 4, it looks like.
And there is no detection. We have an Overseer in the main base to the bottom left, but that won't help him at all at the top right.
He's got one.
His base will die.
He's got one Overseer in place at his third base.
Does. Nice.
But what is he gonna? Is he gonna actually He's not using his DTs just yet. Okay, now he's running in. With these DTs, though, he will be able to take these Lings out. They're about to have +2. They're going to rip through these Lings, and then he can probably target the hatchery down unless the Roaches turn around right away, which they will.
Time, and here we go. The Roaches are here and take down every single DT. Nice. Very, very well done. And that Overseer was so important. I really thought that he didn't have an Overlord position. I completely overlooked it, but nice. With the Overseer, he's able to defend against it. At the bottom left, we have a bit of a fight going on, and now Koka is starting to rally units towards his opponent's base. He is going to be very aggressive here. He knows his opponent has spent a lot of resources on those DTs and sentries, so he's not going to have very many Stalkers. He's running in here, drops some force fields to defend, but the Infests are coming in with a ton of energy, and he is going to be able to wreak havoc on those sentries. A great fungal hits every Protoss unit, and now he's actually just going to surround and tear through this army. Avenge in a terrible position here. He will not be able to hold this third Nexus. Very well done here by Koka. Moves in, is now at 158 against 66. And now the Roaches have free reign over the main base of our Protoss player. So the ZeNEX Avenge is about to die to Koka here. 3 bases against 2 at this point in time, and all these Roaches supported by the Infestors are just too much for him to deal with. Yes, 3 sentries, 2 sentries, that's all he has at this point.
You know, the build from our Protoss player Avenge could have been a little bit better optimized. He rushed out that +2 ASAP. He's even getting super fast +3 right now, but it just will not come to fruition. His Forge is killed. He banked a lot on those DTs. He warped in so many. It did not work. GG. Not enough Immortals. No answer for the Infestors. And Slayer's Koka, he's back. It's his first win since his absence from the GSL in the individual league. His only other appearance was against Epic's Open. He lost to Oz in the ZVP. One of his only ZVP losses, in fact. But he is back. This is his first win, and he's looking strong.
For Koka, it's obviously really great to win the first match. For Avenge, it's a different story. He lost yesterday already against Zenyo. Now today he's losing against another Zerg player. And this is definitely a bit of a problem for him. In the GSTL, he did not have a good record, and I think that he's probably feeling like letting his team down a little bit. Yesterday, Life stepped up and was able to claim victory. Who's it going to be today, though?
Yeah, we'll see what ZeNEX is going to do next. I'm really curious. I don't think they're going to send out another Protoss. Obviously, Extreme is such a good player. One of the top players on ZeNEX. We didn't see him yesterday because he didn't have the opportunity to come out. I think they want to save him for later. They're not going to pull him out against Koka, who's obviously very, very good at ZVP. He's basically dominated the match. Like you said, 80% win rate with 25 games. That is insane. That is like an Inca PvP crazy ratio. Like, I can't think of very many players who have that high of a win rate in a matchup.
I'm really curious about the next player. You mentioned the map?
The map is going to be in Toon Valley, so it looks like it's going to be a Protoss. I mean, it could potentially be like Harrier in a Terran. Usually, though, when you see this map, it's almost always Protoss versus
Exactly, yeah. And I would think we might see Extreme here, regardless of how good Koka is actually against Protoss.
Yeah.
If he feels really confident in this matchup, then he might just play, and we'll find out soon enough. The players are now getting ready. Of course, we have ZeNEX. They have to decide on their next, and this is happening right now, I think.
Yeah, they're going to pick it right now. Who will it be?
It's a tough choice against Koka, but with Entombed, it kind of has to be a Protoss.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, man.
That is actually a bit surprising. We have a Zerg versus Zerg. Exactly the same order of players that we had yesterday against a Zerg. They are once again resorting to life here.
I love this because, you know what? He played so well yesterday. He showed that he can play against all 3 races. And you know what else? This means that now he takes out Entombed Valley, so Puzzle can't use Entombed Valley against him.
Puzzle can't use it later. They try to eliminate the map. They're not using a Protoss player in order to shine here. No, they're eliminating the map.
Such a smart choice.
They said it yesterday. They said yesterday that they feel confident against Slayers, but they have to deal with Puzzle. Puzzle was their biggest concern.
Yep, that's exactly what he said in the interview. I'm excited to see what Life is going to bring to the table today. Yesterday, he showed that he loves to go fast there. He likes to cut a lot of corners economically, but still can play an aggressive game. We saw him with the 9 pool in the match against TLO on Ohana. He actually just does not care, man. He will do whatever it takes to win. A risky player for sure. We are going to take a 5-minute break. When we get back, we'll see if Life can play as well as he did yesterday.